Ever looked at a corporate financial report and your eyes just kind of glazed over? Well, today we're going to change that. Think of this as a guided tour. We're going to slice through all the jargon and the dense tables to find the real story hiding inside the numbers of a company you probably know pretty well.
Now, the name Sheela Foam might not ring a bell, but I guarantee you know their biggest brand, Sleepwell. Yep, that's them. So by digging into their report, we're really getting an exclusive look under the hood of a huge player in the home comfort world.
So, where do we start? Well, our tour begins with the official announcement. Now, this isn't some glossy marketing brochure. It's the formal, legally required document where a public company has to lay it all out there, the good, the bad, warts and all, for everyone to see.
And they have to do this every 3 months, like clockwork. It's all about transparency. It's basically them saying, hey, investors, here's exactly how we did, here are the big moves we made, and here are all the numbers to back it up. So what were the big takeaways from their last board meeting? Well, first up, they gave the official thumbs up to the financial results we're about to explore. Second, they took another big step in acquiring their rival Kurlon by giving shares to Kurlon's owners. And finally, they confirmed that independent auditors have looked everything over.
Okay, now for the part everyone's waiting for, the headline numbers. This is that quick snapshot that tells you, in the simplest terms, whether the company actually made money during the last 3 months.
You always start at the very top. It's what people in the business called the top line. And really, it's just all the money that came in the door from selling their products and from any other sources.
And wow, for this last quarter, that number for Sheela Foam was a massive 1,090 crore rupees. A huge number, but that's only half the picture, right?
Because of course, you got to spend money to make money. Their total expenses, everything from the raw materials for the mattresses to paying their employees and running ads, that all added up to about 1,024 crore rupees.
So you take the money in, you subtract the money that went out, and the big question is, what's left over? That, my friends, is the famous bottom line. And there it is, a profit of just over 52.5 crore rupees. Now, on its own, that sounds pretty good, but is it really good? Well, a number without context is just a number. So let's get some. Wow, just look at this. That 52 crores this quarter absolutely demolishes the 10 crores from the last quarter, and it's more than triple what they made this time last year. This isn't just a little bump, it's a huge jump. And it really gets you thinking, doesn't it? Could this be the first big payoff from their Kurlon acquisition starting to kick in? Let's keep digging. Okay, so a big profit is great news, but it's just one quarter. It's a snapshot in time. To really know if the company is healthy for the long haul, we got to pop the hood and do a proper health check using a couple of key financial ratios.
First up, we've got the debt-to-equity ratio. And the analogy here is actually perfect for understanding it. Just think about your own finances. How much of your house you own versus how much you still owe the bank. It's the exact same idea for a company. It tells you how much they rely on borrowed money.
So for Sheela Foam, that ratio is 0.33. What does that mean? Well, it means for every single rupee of their own money, they've borrowed about 33 paise. And what's really great here is the trend. Just a year ago, that number was 0.52. So you can see they're actively working to rely less on debt, which is a really healthy sign.
Next up is the interest coverage ratio. Let's think about it this way. Can the company actually afford to pay the interest on its loans? Just like you have to make your monthly EMI, they have to pay their interest. And a higher number here is always better. It means they've got plenty of wiggle room.
And check this out. Their number is 4.86. That is super healthy. It basically means their earnings could cover their interest payments almost 5 times over. So yeah, no stress there. They can easily pay their bills with lots left over.
All right, we've checked the vitals, we've looked at the headlines. Now it's time for my favorite part, where the real juicy stuff is. We are diving into the notes section. This is the fine print, the footnotes, where you find out the why behind all those numbers.
And believe me, this quarter was action-packed. We're going to see how they're moving along with that huge Kurlon deal. We'll see a little shuffle in their investment in Furlanco and find out why they sold off some property. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's the Furlanco saga. They start with a small piece of the pie back in 2023. Then they really doubled down, upping their stake to almost 44%. But wait, this last quarter, their stake actually went down. So what happened? Did they sell? No. Furlanco just issued a ton of new shares to raise more cash, and while Sheela Foam bought some, other investors jumped in too, which just watered down their overall ownership percentage. It's a great example of how these big investments are always moving and changing. You know how I said the note section explains the weird stuff? Well, here's a perfect example. Tucked away in the profit numbers was this line item called an exceptional item, a loss of almost 8 crore rupees. So what was it? The note tells us exactly. They sold some land and buildings and took a loss on the sale. By calling it exceptional, the company is telling us, hey, don't worry, this isn't part of our regular business, it's a one-off thing.
We are at our final stop on this tour, and honestly, it might be the most crucial one of all. See, after a company puts all these numbers together, someone totally independent has to come in and check their homework, and that's the auditor's report.
And for this report, the financial referee is a firm called MSKA & Associates. Their entire job is to be the unbiased third party, to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and say, yep, these numbers look right to us.
Now, auditors, they talk in a very, very specific way. You're not going to get a looks great from them. What you're looking for is this carefully worded phrase right here. In normal human language, this basically means we looked everywhere and we didn't find anything that makes us think these numbers are wrong. It's their stamp of approval, that clean bill of health that lets everyone trust the report.
So let's just step back for a second. From one single document, we've pieced together this whole story of skyrocketing profits, smarter debt management, and some really big strategic plays. But here's the thing to always remember. A financial report is like looking in the rearview mirror. It tells you where the company has been. And that leaves us with the million-dollar question. With all this momentum, what story is the next quarter gonna tell?